You better feel the heat because we're on the final stretch of the taxing difficulty. We only have 10 levels left, and in this video we're going to play the first 5 of the bunch. This level is called Feel the Heat, and it kinda is reminiscent of level 3 of the taxing difficulty, except that this one is definitely way better designed because it doesn't involve as much random luck than the previous level did. It's all about sending one lemming as a trailblazer in order to build a ramp for everybody else, and while he's currently building, we better get ready to free up everybody else, and you have to do it rather early because otherwise you might run out of time. Also, you need some dexterity into building your ramp because you need to make sure that you land between the 2 fire jets because otherwise you're going to die, and the margin of error is very minimal, so you can't afford any kind of fuck up whatsoever. Also, you're probably gonna have to interrupt the builder because usually lemmings are just gonna die whenever they fall off the newly created bridge if it goes on for way too high. Also, yeah, make sure that your digger or miner doesn't mine too far because otherwise he's gonna be lost in the nether. Oh boy, alright, this level. Yeah, whenever we last saw this level in Fun, it was level 27, let's be careful out there. It was one of Fun's most challenging levels, but here it is, even more challenging. This is also one of these levels that vastly changes depending on whether you have the PC or the Amiga version, or any version that follows the Amiga version as a template, because on the PC version you only have to rescue 40 out of 50 lemmings, which makes this level incredibly trivial because you can mostly apply the same solution than you did in Fun, except that you use diggers in order to block the way forward to the other end of the hedges so that your lemmings don't end up being lost into the nether and everything, but yeah, on the Amiga version you can't really do the same thing because you have to save everyone, so that means we are gonna have to do something very particular at the end of this level. We're going to have to find a way to free the blocker and make it so that he'll be able to walk again, because you have to rescue him too, and you need him, by the way, in order to finish the level, because there's no way to turn your lemmings to the other side otherwise. The platform is too thin in order to simply dig through it, and finally, if you dig where the steel is, your lemmings are still going to climb out, so yeah, it's a complete bummer no matter what. Also, yeah, right now I'm kind of forgetting one detail here. One detail that is going to make it so that I'm probably gonna fail the level because, yeah, it's a complete confused mess right now. I forgot to repair the bridge, and either it's going to make me lose all of my remaining time, or it's just going to make it so that I'm not gonna be able to properly mine under the blocker, because that's what you have to do. Yep, I failed, so yeah, unfortunately this level was a wipe just because I forgot to build my bridge back, and therefore I could not successfully mine below my blocker's feet. The reason why I'm doing this is that if the floor disappears beneath the blocker, he's gonna become a regular walker lemming again. Yeah, this time we're not gonna wait before we raise the release rate all the way back to the top. The reason why we're doing this is in order to make it so that we're not gonna run out of time, but we also must lower it all the way here because we gotta make sure that there's only one lemming heading toward the blocker in order to be able to mine under him, and now we're going to be able to give him and the blocker floaters in order to survive the drop. Yep, we've got our lemming here. It's time to undergo the operation Free Blocker. Here we go. It's being successfully accomplished. Now the question is, am I gonna make it in time? Because that might actually be a really tight fit. Yeah, that was a little bit too close for comfort. Honestly, I did not like this one playthrough at all. But yeah, remember how come whenever we did the level in Fun, you could also take a much more straightforward way and build a ramp for all of your lemmings to go there and everything, well, you can still do this into the taxing version. It's a little trickier to pull off, but I still think it's a better solution than the walking all around the level in order to make it so that we will be able to do whatever we want. So, hey, it's pretty much the same drill again. You use your digger. Oh, yeah. With that said, the multitasking here is kind of not playing in my favor, but now I think everything should be in the clear. Yeah, all of our lemmings are successfully contained, and now it's just going to be a matter of continuing the building of this ramp until that my lemmings hit the lemming, shall I say, because there's only one lemming that needs to hit the block in order to turn back, and here we go, we mine under the guy, and here we go, level is done. I don't know, I think this one solution is a whole lot easier to execute. There's some complications at the beginning, but apart from that, it goes on a whole lot more smoother than just taking the very long roundabout way. And now, for a level that is a complete pain in the ass. King of the Castle. Well, there's gonna be 95 Kings of the Castle, because that's how many we have to rescue. So, yeah, you can only allow yourself 5 casualties, and finally, yeah, you have nothing but 20 builders, and at this point I probably should restart, because there's no way I'm going to build my bridge and carry on with the level without losing all of the lemmings. So why is this level a pain in the ass? Because a lot of things need to go down perfectly in order for it to work properly. Yeah. And you're also going to have to decide on whether these lemmings need to be casualty. Oh, and also this one bridge has to be pixel perfect. Yeah. You have to do this bridge with only one builder, and yeah, that's not even like an optional thing or something, because you're pretty much gonna need all 20 of your builders in order to be able to make it. So I'm probably gonna move only on the specifics on this level whenever I'll finally be able to do this one bridge correctly, because holy shit, it's hard. Yeah, I just fucked it up again, for fuck's sake. Alright, and now it's time for the Domo Vision, because, yeah, this is just really dumb. I hate it whenever you have to do this. I mean, we had like level 12 of taxing, which was all about doing those pixel perfect builders, and now that I have one level where I have to do it, I cannot seem to do it anymore. I mean, it's just gonna go attempt after attempt, and every single freaking time I'm just gonna click too late. Oh my god. And in the meantime, you also must not forget to have a couple of builders that will just do nothing and build bridges this way in order to stall the lemmings, and make sure that you put some distance between each of them so that you're going to be able to have your lemmings fall on the other bridge, and therefore all of the climbing up and down of the bridge is gonna buy you some time. And also don't think that you're out of danger's way yet. While we're busy building our bridge that will lead backwards, we also must build more bridges in order to close the gap and make it so that lemmings will no longer be able to kill themselves. And while you're busy doing all of this, you also must count the casualties. If you reach 5, you're gonna be okay, but if there's more than 5 lemmings that die, you have to restart the entire level. Also, you have to be careful about the amount of builders that you use, because here's how things go. The numbers that you're seeing here are the number of builders that you need in order to get to all of these parts. All of the remaining builder parts require 3 builders, because 1 builder in order to seal the little gap that leads all the way back to the lower level, and 2 more in order to reach the next level. Since there's no gap at the very first large bridge you have to build, you can get away with only 2, but that makes it for 11 builders that will be used in order to make it all the way to the top. So you'll have about between 8 or 9 builders in order to do the beginning part, where you save enough lemmings so that you're not gonna have more than 5 casualties. And this is even worse on the PC version, because since this level had 80 lemmings instead of 100, you could only afford 4 casualties. And believe it or not, that's actually a huge deal, because having 4 lemmings to die and 5 is definitely a different brand of story when it comes to this level. More so considering the very limited supplies that you have to deal with. So yeah, I only have 4 builders left, so mathematically I should be good enough in order to finish the level. But yeah, that's also another thing that must be remembered with this one level. You also must make sure to click on the right lemmings too. So if you don't have the ability to assign lemmings or skills to lemmings that go into a certain direction, the rest of the level is also not going to be a cakewalk, because all you need is a misclick and you will fuck up the level, because you're probably not gonna have any more builders in order to get to the top. Even then, it's gonna come down to the wire. I mean, we still have 1 builder, so we're not in any danger whatsoever, but imagine that this was the last builder. Yeah, we will have failed. We needed all 20 builders in order to get to the top, because holy shit, this level is unforgiving as all hell. I've played and successfully finished this level like 5 times, and only one of these times I've had any builders remaining. Every other time, I've used all of them. This is how unforgiving this level is. So it's kind of weird that the next level that comes right after is a whole lot easier in comparison. Honestly, it's about the same level concept. It's all about stalling your lemmings long enough so that somebody can go out in the front in order to prepare the one bridge that will actually matter. So until then, you just build a lot of bridges in order to keep your lemmings busy. And as soon as your bridge is ready, it's time to increase the release rate all the way to 99, because there's not really anything that will make it so that we need to keep the release rate down, because now comes the second part of the level. The lemmings are going to walk all over to the right into this little spiral contraption-like structure that we see, so we need to have a lemming turn around and then build, but then I clicked on the wrong one. But yeah, we have to build a new ramp in order to receive the lemmings and soften their fall as they're going to land from the platform, which is all the way on the top. And don't even think about trying to build in order to make it so that you can prevent the lemmings from going there in the first place. It's really, really hard. There's like absolutely no margin of error for you to not send the lemmings over to the mad DMA damn dimension. And the moment of truth is over. Now our ramp is working as advertised, and it's just a matter of waiting for everybody to take the long walk all the way to the exit. And that's why you have to increase the release rate really soon, because otherwise you're not gonna make it in time because of the 3-minute time limit. But yeah, that was a whole lot easier than the last level that we ended up playing, did we? Oh, and this level again, it's level 19 from Fun. Take good care of my lemmings. Yeah, we're gonna have to take good care of them again, but yeah, it turns out that the solution that I assigned in order to try and make the level more interesting last time, well, it's pretty much the same thing again, so yeah, there's only one change here, and even then you don't really have to do it this way at all. I'm using a bomber here in order to make it so that instead of a blocker, we're going to be able to keep everyone at bay, and we're just going to use the same strategy of stalling the lemmings long enough with long tunnels that will eventually lead them to their victory. But instead of using a bomber, you could also just end up using a basher and then build in order to break it and then just create a dead end. But yeah, the thought didn't occur to me until I recorded this, so it's kind of a moot point. Now it's just going to be a matter of doing some multitasking in order to ensure that everything is going on according to plan, because I remember this being an issue the last time I did the playthrough on the fun difficulty, and even then it really shouldn't have been. I was just slacking on the job here, but this is what the pause button is for, in order to compensate for your fuck-ups. And now it's time for the race against the clock to begin anew. Will the tunnel be finished before I actually end up building there? Well, actually it's gonna be a much closer call this time, but I'm pretty sure that's because I started digging way further down the road or something when I played this level on Fun. But no worries, I'm still going to make it on time. Just barely, but hey, it was still on time regardless. And yeah, that's about it, as long as you didn't forget to increase your release rate. Here goes another level down the drain. Well, level 21, 22, and 23 were pretty worthwhile challenges, but I don't know, 24 and 25 were kinda lackluster in comparison. Oh boy. With that said, however, this level is not going to be lackluster. Oh my goodness. Taxing is not going to go down without a fight, and this is where the fight begins. So, coming up next, we're going to fight this dreaded level, as well as the rest of the levels of the taxing difficulty.